On June 18, the opening ceremony of the 2026 annual meetings of the Islamic Development Bank Group was held in Baku. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan Ilham Aliyev attended the event. A family photo was taken first. The national anthem of the Republic of Azerbaijan was played. A verse from the Holy Quran was then recited.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله نور السماوات والأرض مثل نوره كمشكاة فيها مصباح.
Afterwards, a video about the Islamic Development Bank, ISDB, was screened.
There are moments in history when the world looks for somewhere to gather, to decide what comes next. A place where every region meets, where, against rising tides and shifting winds, the future is not foretold, but forged together. This year, that place is Baku. 57 nations, 4 continents, one conviction that prosperity, to be real, must be shared. Azerbaijan, a nation that turned diversification into direction and patient reform into a story the world studies today. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency President Ilham Aliyev, Baku welcomes us not only as host, but as a bridge between vision, resilience, and shared progress.
The head of state delivered a speech at the event.
Dear Mr. Chairman of Islamic Development Bank Group, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, I greet all the participants of the annual meeting. Welcome to Azerbaijan. I am very grateful to the group and its chairman and the whole team for selecting Azerbaijan as a host country for annual meeting. It's a big honor for us, and once again it demonstrates the strong bonds between us. I'd like personally thank Mr. Chairman, Dr. Al-Jasser, for his continuous support to the reforms in Azerbaijan, for his vision in moving the bank to the future, and to his cordial attitude to our country. Dr. Al-Jasser visited Azerbaijan already many times, and also twice visited the liberated territories, which is a special pleasure for all of us. As you know, Azerbaijan hosts the annual meeting for the second time. This also is a clear demonstration of our close ties, the level of cooperation, and the scope of joint activity. I remember very well 2010, when we were the host country for the first time. And that annual meeting gave a strong boost to our partnership with the group, and also to the reforms Azerbaijan was implementing in order to diversify economy, conduct reforms, and reduce dependence on the energy sector. Many things have changed since that time in Azerbaijan and around. One of the things which hasn't changed is Azerbaijan's stable, successful development. And this is a demonstration of the policy we conduct, a policy based on our national interests, in good relations with all actors on the global international arena, and with a strong commitment to our successful development. Successful development is based on a variety of factors. Azerbaijan is only 35 years independent, and except first 2 years of war, occupation, humanitarian catastrophe, civil war, and other difficulties, the rest was a stable development of the country, and this is one of the main prerequisites for success for every country. Where stability is undermined, we cannot talk even about development. So stability, political, economic, social stability, which today is a reality of Azerbaijan, is not only the main factor for our development, but also it is a factor of regional development. Because with the strong ties in the regional scale and also on a global arena, Azerbaijan already became an important actor in many aspects. Our independent foreign policy gained strong support in the international community. The number of our friends is growing year after year. And the support from the international community is reflected in a very illustrative moments when our candidacy was among the list of candidates for different institutions, and we got overwhelming support. That was the case when we were candidate for United Nations Security Council some years ago, and got the support of 155 countries. That was the case when we were the candidate for the chair of non-aligned movement, second largest after United Nations international institution, consisting of 120 countries, and unanimously we've been elected. And not only elected, but also our chairmanship was unanimously prolonged. So this is a demonstration of international support. Sometimes when we hear the words like international community, some may think it's kind of a limited group of countries, developed countries, which, awarded themselves with this name. But this is a wrong approach. International community is a whole world, is a country, is a members of United Nations. And to gain support of absolute majority of countries of the world, this really demonstrates, as I already said, respect based on practical steps, not only based on statements. We're the successful host country for many international events since 2010 annual meeting of ISDB Group. Among the recent ones, I would name the successful COP29 held in 2024 with remarkable results. And also last month's World Urban Forum, one of the big international gatherings, also successfully was held in Azerbaijan, and many more to come. So this once again demonstrates a diversified agenda of our activity. Azerbaijan became an important actor on global energy arena, initiating and financing and implementing large-scale energy infrastructure projects which connect countries across Eurasia, which provide necessary energy supply to those who need it, especially in the times when energy supply chains are not safe, and when energy security becomes one of the main factors for every country's national security. Very positive investment policy allowed to attract billions of investments in different areas, including in the energy area, and construction of the pipelines which connect Caspian Sea with Mediterranean, with Black Sea, which connect Caspian offshore gas fields with European markets. This really needed a lot of efforts. Diplomacy, political contacts, good relations with neighbors, with the neighbors of our neighbors, financing, good reputation, and resilient economy. So the combination of these factors allowed Azerbaijan now to be one of the important energy suppliers. With respect to supply of natural gas, today Azerbaijan is #1 from point of view of geography of supply of gas by pipelines. We supply natural gas to 16 countries, and the number is growing year after year and will continue to grow. Oil supplies cover even more countries, and this is all to the benefit of producers, transitors, consumers. So a kind of a teamwork which has been created really is unique in the sense of complexity of the implementation of projects from point of view of financing, point of view of terrain, point of view of different political obstacles which we had in front of us. Investing largely in infrastructure, we also concentrated not only on infrastructure inside the country, but also infrastructure inside the country which has international dimension. In other words, we tried to transform Azerbaijan from landlocked country, as you know, we don't have access to world oceans, to an international transportation hub, to use our geography as a foundation for building strong transportation infrastructure. Because geography, of course, is important, but if it is not added with infrastructure, it doesn't mean a lot. So today, east-west and north-south corridors crossing Azerbaijan provide very important supply routes for a growing number of countries. And if one just looks at the map, can see that Azerbaijan is situated between Europe and Asia, and geographical location, of course, is depending on the agenda, can be a headache, can be an advantage. In our case, it's really an advantage not only for us, but for many more countries. And today, the corridors, which I already mentioned, crossing Azerbaijan, really create a kind of a connected and coordinated transportation arteria for many countries. And of course, a lot is to be done, and this is, by the way, one of our priorities. Economic development of Azerbaijan was positive, and as I said, economy is stable. We managed to attract more than $350 billion of investments, direct investments, almost half from foreign sources in the last 20 years. And our investment plans continue because today investors look for stable places. Unfortunately, by the time passes, the number of stable locations does not grow. This is unfortunate today's reality. Therefore, good investment climate, investment protections, legislative base, and also already accomplished projects allow us to attract investments now, not only in energy, but non-energy sector, which is, by the way, one of our priorities. We spoke about that 16 years ago at the ISDB annual meeting in Baku. And since that time, we managed to transform. So today, the share of non-oil and gas sector in our GDP is more than 70%, which is a remarkable achievement. But still, we have to work hard in order to continue to change the balance of oil, gas, and non-oil and gas sector in our export. Today, absolute majority of our export are energy resources. So we are working very hard in order to change the situation. And for that, of course, we need more reforms, more investments, and also we need new markets. And this is a problem because the struggle for markets become very, how to say, very active, I would use this word. So diversification of economy is already a reality, but we have to continue, definitely. We managed to reduce our foreign debt. That was a target put by me some years ago, and we achieved, and even maybe more than we planned. Today, our foreign debt is only 6% of our GDP. So we started to borrow again. There was a break, but we started to borrow again. And of course, the first financial institution whom we approached was Islamic Development Bank, because of our strong connections, because of our shared history and very productive and constructive relationship. And during the meeting, many agreements will be signed in order to give a boost to new infrastructure projects, which in their turn will lead to added value in the non-oil sector. So low level of foreign debt, of course, is a big advantage. So we can borrow more, but we will do it very cautiously. Though today our foreign currency exchange reserves exceed our foreign debt almost 20 times. And by this figure, I think Azerbaijan is one of the leading countries with a very stable financial situation, balanced budget, and what also is appreciated by the leading rating agencies like Moody's and Fitch, which upgraded recently our ratings up to the investment grade, and with the prognosis forecast positive and stable. So we don't foresee any complications with respect to our economic development. And in line with that, hand by hand, goes our social programs. which are large-scale. We implemented several social support packages in the last several years, which cover almost even more than 30% of our population. Reduction of poverty and unemployment also was one of the targets which has been successfully achieved. So today the level of poverty and unemployment is around 5%. And issues related to employment always will be in the center of our attention, as for any other country with a growing population. Because when population grows, we all know, unfortunately, in the Muslim countries, this tendency continues. We all know, but at the same time, it brings along with it a lot of challenges, because you have to create jobs, you have to create more of social infrastructure and infrastructure in general. So this will always be in the center of our attention, so to keep the level of unemployment very low. Of course, one of the main changes which happened since we had a meeting in 2010 was a restoration of Azerbaijan's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Our lands were occupied in the beginning of the 90s. That created a humanitarian catastrophe. We had 1 million refugees and internally displaced persons. In the beginning of the 90s, at that time, our population was 8 million. So 1 of 8 was refugee, homeless, jobless, without any means for living. So that was a real humanitarian catastrophe, and we were left alone. Armenia, which committed war crimes, Khojaly genocide, destroyed our citizen villages, conducted urbicide on the occupied territories, was not sanctioned. Today we hear about sanctions. Sanctions, we hear every day. As soon as something happens, immediately sanctions have been imposed. But no one imposed sanctions on Armenia. And this is a clear demonstration of the double standards, clear demonstration about difference between proclaimed so-called values and real politics. If Armenia was sanctioned because of violation of international law, occupation of territory of sovereign country, committing war crimes, then the conflict between two countries wouldn't have lasted so long. It lasted for almost 30 years. And during these 30 years, there were numerous rounds of useless, endless, meaningless negotiations, which had only one aim for those who were providing so-called umbrella for negotiations, only one aim: to keep our lands under Armenian occupation forever. That was the goal of those who had a mandate to achieve peace and achieve liberation of our territories. I mean the OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs, 3 countries, 3 permanent members of UN Security Council, France, Russia, United States. And can you imagine that these countries could not force Armenia to liberate Azerbaijani territory? No, of course not. They did not want. They wanted our land to be under Armenian occupation. That was their joint decision. But we changed those plans. We've been very hopeful in the beginning of the negotiation process. And me personally, I'm a president since 2003. And for 17 years, I was involved, as I already said, in this useless, as it happened, negotiations, trying to find peaceful solution, trying to persuade big countries that truth is on our side, we are right, we are occupied. Look at the map, look where Armenian forces are standing on our territory. And what we heard in response, go and agree. One message. Second message, there is no military solution. Third message, you cannot start war. Fourth message, if you start war, you will be sanctioned. And many more. Just don't want to take much of your time. So when we realized that those who make decisions in the world decided that our land should be illegally occupied forever, we made our decision and we changed all the plans. 2020 Liberation War lasted 44 days, ended in capitulation of Armenia. We liberated large part of the occupied territories, but not all of it. Then in 2023, we put a final stop, final full stop. And now territorial integrity of Azerbaijan and sovereignty is fully restored, and this is accepted by the whole world. And after that, we offered Armenia peace. We, the winner, the country and the people who suffered from occupation and devastation, we offered them peace. And now we have this peace. So already for almost 1 year, we live in peace and we see the benefits. We will never forget what Armenian occupational forces have done to our people, to our cities. We will never forget how they destroyed 65 mosques and kept animals, including pigs, in our mosques in order to insult our feelings. That cannot be forgotten. We will never forget Khojaly genocide, but we need to look to the future. And we took revenge on the battlefield. And that's enough. That war or wars should have stopped, and we stopped it. As a strong side, we stopped it and offered peace. So now peace is reality. And immediately after we liberated our territories, we started a large-scale reconstruction program. Today, already in Karabakh and Eastern Zengezur, almost 90,000 people live, work, study. We allocated from our state budget more than $15 billion to different infrastructure and housing projects. But from all sources, the volume of financing to liberated territories is close to $17 billion. Large-scale infrastructure projects are being implemented, including water storages, water canals, power stations, free international airports already commissioned, tunnels and bridges. And we're grateful to Islamic Development Bank Group for supporting our efforts in reconstruction of the liberated territories. This is one of the main priorities now for our government, but not the only. And I'm sure that during this time of interaction of the group, there have been a lot of discussions on that. Just want to underline a couple of our priorities for the future. One of them is, as already said, connectivity. We need to continue to transform Azerbaijan into a transportation hub. Our plan is to double the volume of cargo going through Azerbaijan. Today it's about 14, 15 million tons. We look for doubling this figure. Of course, not everything will depend on us, because it will depend on also geopolitical situation, also situation in the neighborhood, but these are our plans. Our plans for food security, very clear with the recently adopted state program on agricultural development. We are planning to achieve a maximum self-sufficiency on the main consumption products. Irrigation, and I'm grateful to ISDB for helping us with irrigation, building canals and water storages will allow the farmers to have access to water and to have more productivity of their products. Renewables is a big potential. Contracts signed already with international and local companies will provide us with 8 gigawatts of solar and wind energy by 2032. This is minimum. This is what has already been signed, and not MOUs, but contracts, but it will be more. So now we are working on transmission lines, how to export, because we will not need as much, as I said. So transmission lines to those destinations which need energy, and this is primarily Europe, definitely, because everybody knows that they will need electric energy for many, many years to come. So all this is in our strategic priority plans. And many other areas, and I'm sure that large part of our plans have been already communicated with the audience. Don't want to take much of your time. Once again, I'd like to express gratitude for selecting Azerbaijan as a host country, for being with us, for your support, and wish the annual meeting success. Thank you very much.
Addressing the event, Mohammed Suleiman Al-Jasser, chairman of the Islamic Development Bank, ISDB Group, said,
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, والصلاة والسلام على أفضل الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. Your Excellency, Mr. Ilham Aliyev, the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Your Excellency, Mr. Mikhail Jabarov, the Minister of Economy of the Republic of Azerbaijan and Chairman of the Board of Governors, Your Excellencies, Governors and Alternate Governors, Honorable Executive Directors, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is indeed an honor to welcome you to this magnificent city of Baku for the 2026 annual meetings of the Islamic Development Bank. Allow me at the outset to express our deepest gratitude to Your Excellency, President Ilham Aliyev, and the government and people of Azerbaijan for the exceptional hospitality and excellent preparations. It is particularly opportune that our gathering coincides with Azerbaijan's National Salvation Day, a defining milestone that ushered in a new chapter of stability, resilience, and renewal. From the ancient Silk Road to today's Middle Corridor, this land has for centuries linked East and West, North and South, transforming geography into shared opportunity. Yet Azerbaijan's story is not only one of connectivity, it is also a story of resilience and renewal. Allow me in this regard to share a brief reflection from my recent visit to Shusha, the jewel of Karabakh. Its enduring legacy is embodied in figures such as the poet and benefactor Khurshid Banu Natawan, a timeless symbol of cultural resilience and compassion. I was moved by the words of the people's poet Muhammad Araz when he said, Come on, rise up now, Azerbaijan. I am with you. We can divide everything except you. Very powerful. These words capture the spirit of a nation that has never relinquished hope. And it is that same spirit that defines our partnership with Azerbaijan. We are proud to be the first multilateral development bank to visit liberated Karabakh, reaffirming our commitment to Azerbaijan's reconstruction and development. And since Azerbaijan joined the bank in 1992, our cooperation has flourished with the Islamic Development Bank Group, approving approximately $1.8 billion for 84 projects in infrastructure, energy, agriculture, and social services. Projects like the Baku-Tbilisi-Kars Railway and the Alat Free Economic Zone are not isolated national projects. They are regional arteries of trade that perfectly embody our annual meeting's theme, Regional Integration for Sustainable Prosperity. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, our ambitions for regional integration and shared prosperity are unfolding in a global environment tested by inflation, conflicts, and supply chain disruptions. Despite broader global resilience, the economic outlook remains fragile. While growth in our member countries is projected to outpace global and emerging market averages, this aggregate performance masks a harsher reality. Our most vulnerable economies still face a difficult road ahead. It is in this challenging context that the Islamic Development Bank Group has stepped up its response. In 2025, total financing approvals increased by 20% to nearly $16 billion, bringing cumulative approvals since inception to $209 billion. But commitments alone are not enough. Impact depends on delivery. We therefore also strengthened our execution, increasing disbursements to $11 billion compared to $9.2 billion in 2024. At the Islamic Development Bank, the $5.7 billion in approvals targeted priority sectors with 46% for transport and connectivity, 20% for water and urban services, and 16% for health financing. Our group affiliates further amplified this momentum. The International Islamic Trade Finance Corporation provided $9.3 billion in trade finance. The Islamic Corporation for the Development of the Private Sector approved $556 million in support for the private sector. And the Islamic Corporation for the Insurance of Investment and Export Credit prompted $17.8 billion in insured businesses. This scale of delivery is anchored in financial discipline. Despite global turbulence, we have maintained our AAA credit rating and issued $5 billion of sukuk in 2025. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, 5 years ago, when our member countries entrusted me with the leadership of this great institution, I pledged a renewed Islamic Development Bank Group, one that would be more responsive, more impactful, and closer to the people we serve. That pledge was made in the shadow of the COVID-19 pandemic, a crisis soon compounded by the war in Eastern Europe and its repercussions on food security across our member countries. Faced with these challenges, we chose action over caution. We scaled up our operations because the communities we serve could not afford delays. The results speak for themselves. We have more than doubled our annual group approvals from $6.8 billion in 2020 to nearly $16 billion in 2025, while accelerating disbursements from $7.1 billion to $11 billion. Yet, as you know, development is not measured solely by the billions of dollars invested. Its truest measure lies in the lives transformed and the hope rekindled. It is the village chief in Cameroon whose day-long journey now takes just 1 hour. It is the newborn in rural Uganda who now has a greater chance of survival. It is the 8.5 million people living in urban villages in Indonesia who now enjoy safer and more dignified living conditions. And it is Annie Badria, a community leader in one of those villages, thanking God for moving towards a better life. From Jakarta to Dakar, from Almaty to Abidjan, and from Dushanbe to Georgetown and Paramaribo, I have seen how ISDB projects, whether small social initiatives or transformational infrastructure programs, are improving lives and expanding opportunities for millions. Bearing witness to this impact has been one of the most humbling experiences of my life. It has transformed me from a central banker focused primarily on macroeconomic indicators and monetary policy in my beloved country into a development banker confronting daily the immense hardships and the extraordinary potential of our 57 member countries. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, over the past 5 years, my colleagues and I have worked tirelessly to enhance the relevance of the ISDB group to our member countries, reinforcing institutional governance and safeguarding the group's long-term sustainability. Alhamdulillah, we realigned the previous strategy, revitalized our partnerships, and strengthened the position of the Islamic Development Bank Group among the world's leading multilateral development banks. We also launched a 10-year strategic framework for the period 2026-2035, anchored in originality, solidarity, and intergenerational prosperity. That long-term vision is now being translated into concrete action through the new 5-year corporate strategies for the bank as well as for the group affiliates. These strategies set an ambitious course for the years 2026-2030. Inshallah, their implementation will begin as soon as we conclude these meetings. At the same time, we have achieved a historic milestone, the ISDB Concessional Fund, which is already operational and supporting a new generation of high-impact projects and helping vulnerable countries address pressing development challenges. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the member countries that have already contributed to this important initiative. Their support reflects the very spirit of solidarity that defines our institution. As we move forward, We count on your continued support and generous contributions to strengthen the fund and ensure that no member is left behind. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I am grateful to my beloved country, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for renominating me to lead this institution for a second term, and to the esteemed governors for their endorsement and continued trust. This renewed confidence further strengthens our determination to advance the Islamic Development Bank Group. As always, our approach will be guided by nationally led solutions with investments aligned with the priorities and development aspirations of our member countries. Our direction is clear: deliver at scale, deliver with excellence, and deliver as one unified group. But no institution, no matter how strong its vision or strategy, can deliver meaningful impact without the dedication of the people who carry its mission forward every day. I express my deepest gratitude to the management and staff of the Islamic Development Bank Group for their dedication and professionalism. And I may ask them to show themselves here, if you don't mind, Mr. President. They are all over here, this room. May I see you guys? Thank you. I also thank all our governors and executive directors and partners across the Arab Coordination Group and the wider multilateral development bank community. Special thanks to the annual meeting's organizing team for their tireless efforts and the distinguished delegates for their commitment to our shared objective. I must reiterate my profound appreciation to Your Excellency, Mr. President, for your kind patronage of our meetings, and to the government and people of Azerbaijan for their gracious hospitality and warm welcome. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, in a world marked by uncertainty, fragmentation, and rising vulnerabilities, solidarity is no longer a choice. It is an imperative. The Holy Quran commands us, وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى, which translates into a command to cooperate in goodness and righteousness. This timeless principle lies at the heart of our mission. It reminds us that prosperity is a sacred trust, a privilege that must be shared and transformed into dignity, opportunity, and hope for all. But we cannot speak of prosperity without recognizing the profound humanitarian crises affecting several parts of our membership, where innocent civilians continue to endure immense suffering, loss, displacement, and uncertainty. These realities remind us that solidarity cannot remain a principle confined to declarations or speeches. It must be translated into collective action, shared responsibility, and meaningful support for those facing fragility and hardship. Let us leave Baku knowing that through our collective efforts, a child will access education, a mother will deliver safely, a farmer will secure a better livelihood, and a vulnerable community will look to the future with greater hope and confidence. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَى اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ صَدَقَ اللَّهُ الْعَظِيمُ. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Addressing the event, Mikhail Jabarov, Minister of Economy and Chairman of the Board of Governors, said, "The event concluded with the signing of the Framework, Loan, Agreement on the reconstruction of the Garaba Irrigation Canal Project, the grant agreement on the reconstruction of the Garaba Irrigation Canal Project, and the Memorandum of Understanding between the Ministry of Economy of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Islamic Development Bank on the preparation of the country partnership strategy for the Republic of Azerbaijan.